Hi, welcome to ITC504. My name is Peter White and I am your instructor for this session. What we're looking at in this session is the discipline of designing user interfaces. Right, we'll cover a number of topics in this, and we'll look at what are the different components of human-computer interaction, or HCI. We'll look at how do we capture, develop and understand the user requirements for the design of an interface, so we design it to work the way that the user wants it. We'll look at how do we research design for HCI. We'll look at the cognitive framework of interaction. So how do users understand what's happening when they're working with a design? And that will help you to perhaps make your designs that much better. We'll look at the principles of interface design. We'll look at how we design interface evaluation and usability testing, and we'll look at the analysis of those test results, those usability test results. If you want to contact me, and I'm very happy for you to do so, please remember I'm an adjunct lecturer. So that means although I have an office at the university, I'm hardly ever there. So email is your friend here. I'm always on email. Contact me at pewhite@csu.edu.au. Please make sure you put ITC504 in the subject line. I have a very aggressive spam filter. It does tend to take you out if there's not a CSU subject code in there. Alternatively, you can put a comment on the ITC504 discussion board in Interact, and that way everybody can see your comments and comment on them as well, and I will still reply. Our Interact site has everything that we need. It's the main site for 504, and it has the resources, which include your topics, your study outline, your subject outline, sorry. There is also a resources folder in there in which I keep the lecture notes, which will normally go up a day or so before the lecture. Any readings, the license keys for our wire tool are there as well. So this contains all the essential information in Interact. It also has the schedule and your assessments. And so you'll also have there a series of, as I said, different readings. You've got the online chats, you've got articles, the discussion board, everything is in there for you. Please make sure you refer to it on a regular basis. We have a series of weekly topics, right? And each topic will come with possibly some readings, could be some tutorials, some videos, some activities, perhaps some reading and research requirements. So work through those each week, and I would suggest you have a look at those prior to the lecture each week. We'll use a professional wireframe tool for this subject, and we'll be using the Balsamic wireframes for desktop version 4. It may even be later. It's version 4 at the time I'm recording this, but they do update it fairly regularly. Now, Balsamic provide this free to CSU HCI students, so download it from Balsamic and you get it in Windows or Mac or Linux flavors. And the license key, as I said, is in the Interact resources folder in 504. We'll have an online session each Tuesday evening at 1900 hours. 7 p.m. This can go for up to 2 hours. It normally is fairly bit shorter, and it is recorded. The sessions are done using Zoom, and so after the session is finished, Zoom send me the link for the recording. I'll forward that on to everybody, and or just put it into Interact resources, and you can download it from there. In order to get a good connection with Zoom, please make sure you log on using your CSU account details. Okay. We have 5 assessments in this topic, this subject, but no exam. Okay. The first one is a design concept where you'll do some design concepts. Then you'll do an initial design. Then you'll do a peer review of somebody else's design. You'll complete your working prototype, and then you'll do finally a mobile prototype. If you have any requests for extension, you must apply for them before the due date. Okay, I'm happy to entertain requests for extensions, but it must be prior to the due date. To pass this subject, you need to get 50% in both the total mark for the subject and for assessments 3 and 4. If you get less than 50% in assessments 3 and 4, and you're within the bounds as set out in the subject outline, then you may be given an additional assessment in order to pass the subject. But they are the requirements, okay? No final exam, but you've got to pass subjects 3 and 4 plus get, assignments 3 and 4 plus get more than 50% as a total. So assignment 1, worth 10%. So here you create 2 designs to meet the requirements of the case study. So you need to go through that case study, the requirements, the presentation, the marking criteria, and come up with 2 different designs. Assignment 2 is now where you'll take your most promising design from assignment 1 and develop it into a set of wireframes. Okay, and again, you'll go through the requirements, presentation, and marking criteria. And also, what we will have is our marker, Miss Yvette Colomb, will usually put up a bit of a video saying these are the things she's looking for in the marking, which will give you a bit better idea of what you're looking for as part of what you should be doing as part of your design. Assignment 3 is worth 20%. This is the peer review. So you will do a peer review and a usability evaluation of another student's design. So you will assess the design from the design principle's point of view and then recommend changes to enhance that design. So with this, you've not got to find just usability issues, but you also have to recommend how to fix them, right? And while you're doing that for somebody else's design, somebody will be doing that for your design as well. So that's part of the requirement. That's one of the essentials that you need to pass. Assignment 4 is where you produce your working prototype. So this now has to be a complete working prototype. Everything has to work in the thing, and it has to incorporate the recommended changes. And there's a document in there that you'll have to talk about how you've done things and what changes you've included and why and so forth. Read all about that in the subject outline, and we'll talk to it as we get closer to it. The final assignment is a redesign. This is where you'll take your main design and you'll now work out a new version to work on the mobile phone. And you may have some additional requirements here that you'll need to meet. Okay, so they are the 5 assignments. It's a really interesting subject, a very practically focused subject, a subject where you will be working to design stuff and meet requirements and meet timeframes, because that is part of the normal working life of an interface designer. If you have any questions, as I said, please contact me at pewhite@csu.edu.au or put a question up on the 504 discussion board. I look forward to seeing you all in the session soon.